Hi, I'm Melanie Little. I'm co-founder of vLife, app.ca, which is a support local online marketplace. And I'm really excited to be here today with one of our founding providers, Stacy Fredericks from Waypoint Creative Services. Welcome, Stacy. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Melanie. I'm really excited to be here.
Me too. So Waypoint, that's a navigation term, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, you're correct.
And and I'm interested to know how you chose that name and how it speaks to your process and how you work in your document design business with your clients.
Absolutely. So I chose the name Waypoint because a waypoint is a stopping place on a journey. And the whole idea of, my business is that I'm guiding you on this journey to this perfectly designed document or asset that you're looking for. And, wherever you are, when you come to me, that's like your starting point. And then we get together and we work together, and I'm your guide as we move to your perfectly designed business asset.
Yeah, very cool. I love that analogy, and I can see your passion. I know we've had many conversations about this. She's legit passionate about this and highly skilled about this. Yeah, it's really cool. And I would love if you could kind of share an example of how you've done that, how you've guided and been the waypoint, and with a particular, maybe a recent example from a client to kind of demonstrate that process for us.
For sure. So yeah, the first one that comes to mind is actually a client I started working with a couple years ago, and he has a report that he puts together. He's in a unique industry, dust explosion safety, and he was doing this report himself. He had sent it out a few times, and he had the evidence that the content was good and what his audience was looking for. But he had a few kind of, I guess, things that he felt were lacking. So one, he was looking to sell ad space in this document to help bring in some revenue. And he'd reached out to a few people, and he'd sold between 2 and 4 in the previous ones that he had done. And he was a little bit, I guess, hesitant to reach out to more people because the document itself wasn't projecting, I guess, the professionalism that he really wanted for the brand.
Right.
And he just knew doing it himself that he wasn't going to get it, but he really wanted it. And he also had a lot of other content that he really wanted to be able to pull in that he felt would be valuable for his audience, and he just didn't have the time doing the design himself.
Right.
So we got together, and the first thing we do is sort of dig in and have a chat about what you're looking for. And he brought up the whole advertising piece. And so part of that was that he really wanted it to look more professional, which is great. But then it was taking him so much time to bring on the sponsors that he was bringing on.
Right.
And so one of the things we did was we put together what's called a cut sheet. So if you've done advertising before or newspaper or anything, they'll send you their cut sheet that shows like these are the ad sizes and these are the price points.
Yeah.
So we put that together, and then we also did a draft report for him to send out as well when he was looking for the advertisers, because he didn't want them to, like, the cut sheet was great, helpful, explain the information, but he wanted them to see what the report was going to be rather than what it had been.
Right.
So we did a draft report for them, just like, I think it was like between 5 and 10 pages. And we didn't have all the content together because, obviously it wasn't ready to go yet. Mm-hmm. But what we did was we kind of like laid it out exactly how the content was going to look, but we kind of just grayed out the areas. Instead of having them in full color, we grayed out the areas that were, the content wasn't actually finished or ready yet, to show that like this is a draft, and it was something a lot nicer looking than just like, let's put a line through this page that says draft, right?
Yeah.
and he ended up bringing on, gosh, I think there were 15 sponsors that he ended up bringing on.
Wow, and he started with just a few, right?
He started with 4, yeah, 4 on the last one. It was like, I think 2 on the first one and 4 on the second one he did.
Wow.
So yeah, it was, I'm pretty sure it was 15 sponsors that he ended up bringing on, all like different ad sizes. It wasn't all like one ad size or anything, but yeah, 15 sponsors. And he said like it took him half the time because he had this document. There was a way less back and forth. Because he had the cut sheet with all the information, and they were able to see the product that, you know, the end product, and they were like, yeah, we want him. So he, it grew his revenue 185%. And it was amazing. And he now like sells that out and has a waiting list every time.
He has a waiting list.
Yeah, he has a wait list every time.
But it speaks so much to the importance of the kind of services you bring, not only the time-saving element, which is huge because you allowed him to do other things and work on his business instead of on the minutia of his business that it wasn't within his expertise. So you allowed that growth, but then you're able to, you know, help him present his offerings in a way that has a wait list for advertising dollars, people paying him to be associated with his brand and advertise. So that is a wonderful example of the kind of transformation that you brought for him. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know, it's not to say that, you know, obviously not every document has advertising space in it, so it's, you know, you're not necessarily going to always have that direct you know, growth in revenue or anything like that. But it really speaks to the fact that this was about finding the purpose of the document and making sure that we could, you know, we weren't just delivering something that looked good. We were delivering something that served a purpose for him and really helped him in his business.
Fantastic. Yeah. Good Waypoint. Yes, excellent.
That's what we aim for.
Yeah, this is like really illustrates that whole thing that you described about why Waypoint and the journey. Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to learn more. I'm thinking that there are a lot of things. I know there are a lot of other entrepreneurs like me who are very concerned about how they present themselves professionally and their documents and everywhere.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would love for you to come back and tell us some more stories so we can learn from you.
I'd absolutely love to. Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you so much, Melanie.
Awesome. Thank you. And for those of you, thank you for coming and listening. We will drop a link to Stacy's vStore. She, of course, is a vLife provider, so she has presence on vlifeapp.ca, and we'll drop that in the link, and you can connect with her anytime and come back and learn more from Stacy.
Fabulous.
Thanks, Stacy.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.